I'd like to present the championship trophy to the Wisconsin Badgers, our representative to the 2013 Rose Bowl.
They've won the Big Ten 3 years in a row, and now they have a new head coach. We wanted you to get a chance to meet him, so we sent Gerry off to Madison.
You know, Mike, it wasn't too long ago we sat at the desk and watched the press conference when Gary Andersen was named the head coach of Wisconsin. He came across as a strong veteran head coach that knows exactly what he wants his team to look at. But it also showed us that there were some challenges at Wisconsin, and we talked about in our conversation some of the unique challenges of coaching at Wisconsin.
Now I would like to formally introduce the next head football coach at the University of Wisconsin, Gary Andersen.
Before you became a head coach, what was maybe the most important thing you learned as an assistant that's still valuable to this day?
Put the players first and always be there for them, and in the good days and the bad days, and hug them hard and discipline them in the right way when they need to be, and that would be the most important thing for me.
Most important thing now that you're mentoring coaches that you want to pass on to them?
Turn a young man to a man. That's our ultimate job at the end of the day. Whether that means a degree and moving on in life, that means going on in the NFL, that is our job, and we have to keep focus of that every single day and make sure that we understand it's much, much more than winning and losing. Now, winning is a big, big part of this. We all know that, but at the end of the day, if we can lay our heads on our pillow and know that we're changing young men into men, that's the most important thing that we can do.
Most coaches have a great deal of difficulty leaving one team and going to another. And not only was yours difficult, but it was very unusual. Tell us about how that whole thing developed.
The moment that Wisconsin was there, it was not really a discussion. My own son had the opportunity to play here in Camp Randall this year, and I sat him down and told him that, you know, Wisconsin had kind of contacted me and I was interested, and he didn't bat an eye. He said, "Dad, you're going to Wisconsin." And he said, "You spent 3 hours on the field." I said, "I spent 3 hours on the field. You were there. You know those guys are just like us." Once I accepted the job, the kids were scattered. They were gone home for Christmas. So I sat down and we had 2 cell phones going, and between a lot of emotions and tearful phone calls from me, I walked through each kid individually, and that was tough. The toughest thing I've ever had to do in coaching.
How does your approach differ taking over a very successful program like Wisconsin as opposed to taking over Utah State?
I spent a lot of time thinking about that, and as I've gathered the thoughts in my brain as we've gone through this process, the key part of that puzzle is it's not broken, and the goal is to take it and step it to the next level.
You made in-state recruiting a priority at Utah State. When you took over, it had 18 players from the state of Utah, 55 when you left. Why is that so important to a program?
It's important to Wisconsin because the quality of the high school football. In every school I went to, it seemed like there was a head coach and 4 or 5 coaches within the system that have been there for a long time. The other thing is there's a lot of big kids in Wisconsin. that's a positive. You walk through those hallways and there's some very impressive young men.
There's some academic restrictions here at Wisconsin. There may be some added academic requirements. That's not the way a lot of the schools around the country deal with the academic issue. How does that impact recruiting?
A lot of people look at that and say, "Oh, wow, that makes it a lot tougher." I want to turn that upside down and look at it and say, what a tremendous opportunity to have that education and give yourself an opportunity to have a degree, and your diploma is stamped University of Wisconsin. You got a much better opportunity to get that job because people put such a value on that education.
Well, Coach, you've been very generous and been a great host. We appreciate all the time.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having us on Big Ten Network. It's great to be here. Go Badgers.
Still doesn't quite have that same ring of the old Wisconsin way to end an interview. Here's a look at Andersen's record, 26-24. That's a bit misleading. The program won 9 games in 4 years before him. Then by his 4th year, he won 11 games alone. Was an assistant coach in 2 different spans at Utah, including 08 when they won the Sugar Bowl. He's been in the coaching industry now for a quarter of a century.